Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Review Anything and Everything. And today this is another or a second after the show video because last week the fifth episode of the series, The Skeleton Crew had aired. And so I just want to kind of throw some comments in relation to how that affects the Lego set. I already did a commentary on it before. I got a Lego piece stuck to my finger. I did a commentary on the set before, after seeing the show, after maybe the first like 3 episodes or something. Now, obviously, in spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the show about episode 5, the whole ship, this whole outer exterior is an armored shell that ends up coming off, primarily because of a kind of self-destruct break away the armor button that sheds the armor of the ship. And what does this mean for not only Star Wars, the universe itself in relation to the ship, but also what does that mean for Lego in regards to the ship? So let's start first with the in-universe. What that means is that, because afterwards, when all this was shed, this was more streamlined, the whole front area. Even the back engines, they don't look like they would be armored. They even looked more of like a smooth shell on it, after like a smooth, almost like chrome type of finish on the ship. Very smooth and less kind of, with all the greebling on the ship in universe. It didn't have these kind of little things all around it. Just a very smooth kind of ship design, and you had no front thrusters, you just had the rear ones. Now, in universe, what that means is that the ship you see in front of you right here actually doesn't exist as a chain of ships, similar to how the Millennium Falcon, its base form or the name of that design of that type of ship is called the YT 1300. You have ships like the, what is it called again? The Outrider, I think it's the YT 2400. I don't know the name of the ghost ship, but nonetheless, it has a specific name to it. And that ship, those ships, there's a line of those ships in the universe that look just like that. Some of them get modified slightly differently, but that is the line. That's the way they look. Their general base look looks like that. Like the Millennium Falcon, the YT 1300 looks like a Millennium Falcon. You have different configurations, but generally speaking, there will be other ones in the universe. You understand that because it is a off the conveyor belt type of model that has been to some degree mass produced. The name of the model is the name of the type of ship out there. That's not the case with this. This is all just an armor shell. What you see in front of you is not a ship that we would say, oh, this is the whatever design, and there's a bunch of these out there, or if something happens to this, you can find it again. Case in point, look at the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest in universe was destroyed, but there is a chance the Mandalorian can come across a ship just like the Razor Crest, and he could fix it up and it could be his same ship again. And I'm actually rooting for that and hoping that that happens. But nonetheless, the Skeleton Crew ship in universe will never look the same. If you got attached to this look, it will never exist because no one else is going to replicate putting armor on their ship for this purpose. An individual pirate, the owner of the ship, put armor on his ship. It wasn't like, now maybe later on they'll say that in canon, and they can do this, there was a factory design armor plating that went hand in hand with the ship because, maybe it was a ship that was used for a certain type of task. I believe, I don't know if it's a, I don't want to say transport ship. Cargo ship is the word I'm looking for. I don't know if it's a cargo ship like many of the other freight ships are, like the Millennium Falcon, the Outrider, the Ghost. They're all freight ships, pretty much the equivalent of tugboats. I don't know if this is one of those types, but nonetheless, if this was like a freight a freight ship that was like, okay, we have the regular version and then the armored version, because some people who go on their runs, they might run into issues or problems or whatever. And we have a armored, almost like a body kit, similar to a car, that goes with this. Then in canon, you could say, cool, we'll see more of the ship. Granted, if they did that, that would mean all those ships have the option to break away the external armor, which is what it is. And then obviously to put that stuff back on would probably be something most people would never do again. But let's assume that's not the case. That means the ship that you see in front of you, there was only one like it ever in the universe, and it'll never exist again. And now that it's not that way on the show, it will never exist again, which means that this ship, and this goes even deeper and further into either two concepts when it comes to Lego and knowing what was going to be done with the ship. Either they never knew what was going to happen with the ship in many ways. They didn't know about what was the android's name. Is it B something 33? I forget his name, so I'm sorry that it slipped my mind. But the droid's name that was living on the ship. Either they didn't know about him, so they didn't include him as a figure. And either they didn't know what was going to happen with the ship with the whole breakaway thing. So once again, they made the ship the design that you see in front of you. Or the opposite is true. They completely knew this was going to happen. So they threw this out early because they knew, well, let's get this out almost 6 months, or at least about a good like 4 months before the show airs. It came out in August. So 4 months before the show airs, because we know this ship is not even going to be around. We didn't include the droid. Why? Because once, if we introduce the new version of the ship, we may include the droid in that ship. So that's a possibility too, in terms of the Lego design. Both aspects are the two opposite ideas. One, they didn't know anything, or two, they knew everything. So we're yet to see how that's going to play out. But the show is doing well, so it would make sense for Lego to try to, piggyback on that. The one thing I'm going to say, regardless, that is a negative, is the fact that if you were attached to the ship, and I love the way the ship looks, it really was growing on me. You want to see more stuff with it, more adventures with it, all this other stuff. You really realize now, like, okay, that was it. Like the first 5 episodes of the Skeleton Crew is the last time and the first time you'll ever see this ship ever again. You will never see this design again. And it's maddening because it looks like they put a lot of work into it. And now it's just gone. And I actually prefer this version than the version that came after it, because the newer version looks so streamlined. And this one really, this version makes you think of the Millennium Falcon, a semi kind of raggedy pirate ship, very just kind of like, smack it with a hammer to get it running. It's got pieces on it that might be every now and then kind of like, fall into pieces or whatever the case is. Just very like just run and gun type of ship. Now, the one after the armor came off looks very polished. It looks almost like the one that that Princess Amidala was in. I'm sorry, not Princess Amidala. Who am I thinking? Princess Padme was. Now I'm gonna have a brain fart who Princess Amidala is, and for some reason I'm thinking that's Padme's character, or am I mistaken? I don't know. I don't know where my mind's going at right now. But Padme. Her ship in the first movie that was all shiny and glossy, and they went to go find Anakin. Well, they weren't looking for him, but they landed on Tatooine and picked him up. That ship that they had there, and I forget the name of that one. That was super polished and shiny. This ship after the fact looked like that to me. Not as chrome, but it looked like it would have been someone's royal ship, something high class. It wasn't like this dirty ship. It was definitely something that would have been super expensive. So that is my mindset on that. And let me know your thoughts down below. Like, are you sad that this thing's gone? Are you happy about the change? How do you feel about this fact that in just 5 episodes, we realize now that a ship that we may have started to grow attached to actually never existed. It never existed. You'll never see it again. Post your comments down below, you guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.